The shadow of the vows. Amina was a beautiful, humble, and hardworking young woman. She was neat, respectful, and known for keeping her home in perfect order. She had no family, she was an orphan, but she carried herself with dignity and hope for the future. When she met Ibrahim, he treated her with kindness and love. In the early days of their marriage, he cherished her, providing for her and speaking to her with warmth. Amina, in turn, gave her whole heart to her husband, taking care of the home and supporting him in every way. For a time, life felt like a dream fulfilled. But over time, Ibrahim began to change. The gentleman she once knew grew cold, irritable, and harsh. The love turned into insults, the smiles into anger, and the care into neglect. Even when Amina became pregnant, the cruelty did not stop. When she was about to give birth, Ibrahim did not even bother to take her to the hospital or check on her. Alone and in pain, she brought her child into the world. But when she returned home from the hospital, weak and recovering, she found Ibrahim in bed with another woman. Shocked and heartbroken, she shouted in disbelief. Ibrahim jumped up, his face hard with anger, and slapped her even though she was still unwell. The violence did not stop there. The very next day, in a fit of rage, Ibrahim lashed out again. He flung his leg toward the newborn baby, hitting the child's cheek. That cruel blow left a dark spot on the baby's face. The shock and pain caused Amina to start bleeding again. That night, weak and trembling, Amina decided she could no longer stay. Wrapping her baby in a cloth, she staggered out into the darkness. Her vision blurred, and her strength was fading when a lantern's light appeared in the distance. It was a hunter returning from the forest. Seeing her condition, he rushed over. "Sister, what happened?" he asked urgently. Without waiting for an answer, he lifted her gently and carried her and the baby to his home. There, his wife tended to her wounds, gave her warm food, and made a soft bed for her and the child. For several days, they cared for Amina until she regained her strength. She thanked them with tears in her eyes, knowing she owed them her life. When she was strong enough to travel, she set out again, wandering into a strange, dry village. The streets were empty and eerily quiet. "Why is everywhere so silent?" she wondered aloud. She took 2 steps forward, and suddenly a voice rang out, "You have been chosen for the sacrifice." Fear gripped her, but her first instinct was for her child. "Please, don't kill my daughter," she cried, not even mentioning herself. But instead of harming them, the people explained that the gods had spoken, a great destiny awaited her. She was to be taken to the king. When Amina was brought before the king, he listened to her story with compassion. The king's wife, Queen Adixida, welcomed her warmly. From the very first day, Queen Adixida liked Amina and took her in as a sister. She cared for her, ensured she had good food and clothing, and helped her heal from her pain. Amina, in turn, respected and loved the queen deeply. In time, the king married Amina, making her the second queen. Life in the palace was different from anything she had ever known. Kindness, respect, and dignity surrounded her. The king treated both queens fairly, and Queen Adixida and Queen Amina became close friends, sharing joy and duties together. 2 months after leaving Ibrahim's house, Amina prayed for him despite everything he had done, because she still saw him as a human being in need of God's mercy. She never returned to her old life, but she wished him well from afar. Years passed, and Amina's life blossomed. She became a voice for women, visiting markets to speak about environmental sanitation and community well-being. People adored her, "Our queen. Our queen," they would shout with joy whenever she arrived. Meanwhile, Ibrahim's life had fallen apart. The very night Amina left, he brought another woman into the house. She refused to cook for him, took his money and property, and eventually ran away. Ibrahim was left stranded, broke, and alone. 2 years after Amina left, Ibrahim began hearing rumors, "Amina is now a queen." The Amina you used to beat is living in luxury. Two women talking near his home mentioned her beauty and her success. Curious and guilty, Ibrahim went to see for himself. When he arrived in the town, he was shocked. Amina's life had transformed completely. Overcome with regret, he thought, so Amina's life could change like this. I hurt her, even when she was pregnant. Tears filled his eyes. One day, he secretly followed her to the market and saw for himself how loved and respected she had become. But Amina never noticed him. Later, pretending not to know anything, Ibrahim went to the palace looking for work. He asked to tend the palace gardens, but the guard refused him entry without an appointment. While they argued, Amina came out, dressed for the market. When she saw Ibrahim, she was furious. "Leave here right now before I call the guards to throw you in the cell," she shouted. He begged, "Please, where is my daughter?" But Amina ordered him chased away. When she returned from the market, the king called her in. "My queen, you did wrong today," he said gently. "Learn to forgive and forget. Forgiveness doesn't stop you from being great." He instructed her that if the man came again, he should be allowed in. The next day, Ibrahim returned. This time, he met the king, who listened to his story and sent for Queen Amina. She came reluctantly. "What do you want?" she asked coldly. "I want to see my daughter," Ibrahim replied. At that moment, the princess walked in, a beautiful girl with dark chocolate skin, long beaded hair, and a bright smile in her royal clothes. She knelt before the king, who prayed for her. Amina smiled at her daughter's grace. Ibrahim stared in awe. "Is this my daughter?" "Yes," Amina replied. "But you have no access to her. She knows only the king as her father." The king gave Ibrahim some money and supplies to start his life over, instructing him to visit every 2 weeks if he wished to see the girl from a distance. But the child, knowing the truth of her father's past cruelty, never warmed to him. Ibrahim lived with regret, thinking constantly about what he had lost. Eventually, the weight of his guilt consumed him, and he died. Amina, the king, Queen Adixida, and the princess continued to live happily, respected and loved by their people. Moral: never mistreat your wife. The woman you despise today may become the treasure someone else cherishes tomorrow. Treat her with love, respect, and kindness, for the vows you made are a shadow that follows you for life.